There we go. So my mom came in to give me cha. But if you guys can hear me, I want you guys to put a capital yes. Is it quiet? It says it's fine. I'm not gonna listen to all the trolls, but okay. If you guys can't locate the chat box, say it out loud. I want to hear a resounding yes, just to get the vibes up. Wow, that is a lot of people. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna turn off chat, just because it gets a little distracting. But today is gonna be a great class, and I'm super excited to bring you guys out here and host this webinar for you all. So, as you can see by the title, we're going to be going over how to make around $250 a day rather consistently in the markets. And a lot of people want to be aiming for 10K a day, 20K a day. In a normal situation, and the way I came up, my goal was to always make an extra 1,000 a week, extra 500 a week, extra 5K a week, then turn into 10K a week, then 20K a week. Slowly starting like that, and you take those baby steps to get there. So today, my name is Shinobi Signals. You guys can call me Ummer. Today, we're going to go over how to make $250 a day consistently. So for today's agenda, in our small amount of time together, my goal is to make a big impact on you in the following ways. I want there to be confidence where there was once uncertainty. I want there to be clarity where there was once confusion. And I want you to unlock within you the true potential you have to make your dent in the universe. All right. So what do I mean by that? With clarity where there was once confusion, I want you to be able to look at charts. I want you to be going into the trading day. Mind is not foggy. You're clear, tunnel vision, and you actually have confidence. You have confidence to execute on your trades. That's what I want from you guys today. And this is what's a part of the agenda. Now, today we're going to be going over, a quick introduction, and then we're going to get into the meat of the content where we're going to be going over, the strategy, the secret system I've been, haven't told anyone, and then I want to be teaching you guys. That's going to be towards the middle. In the beginning, we're doing introduction, middle, and then we're going to show you results. Okay. So that's what I want. So if you guys are here right now and you can't commit an hour of your time to stay here fully, I'd recommend leaving and letting someone else join, because this will run about an hour. And I want someone who could stay here for the full amount of time to be here. So confidence where there was once uncertainty, clarity where there was once confusion, unlock the true potential you have to make your dent in the universe. Yet, if nothing else, I'm here to make you money. Lots of it. So what do I need from you? Implementation. Nothing pains me more than giving you a solution to one of your problems, yet running into you a year later and you're still clinging hopelessly onto your problem. I need implementation. Now, one of my good friends, Umar Ashraf, he's one of my mentors, one of my good friends. He's made over $10 million in the past 3 years, all documented. He's, recorded live videos of him logging into his account, showing his broker statements. So he's a very, very trustworthy guy that I look up to. He once said, opportunity is everywhere. You need to be able to look at things from a point of view that allows you to see those opportunities, which in of itself is a skill set. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, because I'm going to be sharing so much information today. I want you to seek it as an opportunity. And if anything excites you today, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and implement it. I want you to implement it into your trading and just see how your trading transforms, and it creates that confidence where there is uncertainty or clarity where there is uncertainty. And what I want you guys to do, if you guys are willing to give me that commitment where you will be implementing these strategies, or at least giving them a chance and seeking opportunity, I'm going to open up chat. I want you guys to locate the chat box and say yes. If you can't find the chat box, I want you to say it out loud. Do we have a deal? Let me find the chat box. To be honest, I lost it. Do we have a deal? If you guys can't find it, what I want you guys to do is I want you to say it out loud. I don't care if people hear you. That's a lot of yeses. All right. Do we have a deal? Yes. I don't want you to say deal. I want you to say yes. There we go. Perfect. So how did this webinar actually come to be? Part one. So this is me, and this is a while ago. This is when I used to work at a gas station from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And I started off reselling. I was a graphic designer. I picked up 2 jobs, DoorDash and this gas station job. And I tried trading and used my DoorDash to fund my account while I had my job at the gas station pay for all my necessities. So I was looking for better paying jobs. And here's one time I actually got rejected from Target a while ago when I was looking to get hired. I went from getting rejected at Target and working 2 jobs to being able to make $115,000 in one single month trading. Now, a lot of people right now should be questioning the legitimacy of this. And if you guys are, I'm glad, because I want you guys to question everything you see. I've posted multiple times on my TikToks, Instagram, everywhere, my broker statements when I took 10K to 200K. And I also posted my tax statements from these accounts. So I want you guys to actually fact check me and go look at those, because you should never trust anyone blindly. I have proven for these to be real numbers and real profits through my tax statements and my broker statements. And I want you guys to be questioning, because I want you guys to know who's legit and who's not. All right. So the result, I took this $115,000 month. I posted it on my Instagram, and, I was showing off to my friends, my family, and I've got message after message hitting my inbox, and they wanted my advice on how to trade and find profitability. I helped several people one-on-one start or become better at trading informally, meaning we'd hop on calls, we'd meet up, it wasn't anything serious. I wasn't taking any payments. It was just informal, friend to friend. And here's an example. This is one of my good students and good friends now, Akash. I hit him up prior to this webinar, and I said, hey, I'm doing this free webinar to teach people how to trade. I needed some testimonials of people that I helped. And we first met in around 2019. So he was one of the first people I ever helped. And I said, can you text me one real quick, like how much I helped you and where you're at since we last talked? And I said, I appreciate it. He said, sure. I started trading with Shinobi in 2019. I legit had no idea what I was doing and was having trouble in everything from selecting strike prices to controlling my psychology. Learning from Shinobi was a great experience. He is knowledgeable, helpful. Most of all, wants to see his students succeed. He helped me master my trading abilities from ground zero to where I am now. I started with zero knowledge, completely confused on what to do and how to do it. And since then, I've grown into a consistent trader, netting near 7 figures in profit over the past 4 years. I would 100% recommend from learning from Shinobi. Now, this is what, this would have been enough. And then we just kept talking, catching up, because it's been like 3-4 months since we last talked. And he said, I could throw in a pic of the new car I bought from Trading Profits if it helps. I'm like, oh yeah, send it. He got a new Audi. And then we talked that he said, I'm buying a house all cash in a couple of months too from Trading Profits. And I haven't talked to this guy in so long, and hearing him say these words, and it's a butterfly effect, helping him start off and teach him the strategies that helped me, and to him now being able to buy a house, a car, and netting almost 7 figures is honestly crazy. So when I saw this, testimonial, and he said to me, I said to myself, I'm like, imagine what kind of impact I could have if I put this into a system and systemized it and taught hundreds and thousands of people at once, instead of just one-on-one calls. So that's where we created Champs Trading. And, that's all there is to it. And then I slowly started to see those results. Barry here, I'm not going to read through all this. Barry here went from running, the 9-to-5. He used to work at a 9-to-5 and own the 9-to-5 from Trading Profits from the systems that we taught him. Henry here, good friend of mine now. He, used the system we taught for consistent green months, and now I'm able to trade on my own, and a blessing to say. Big shout out to this community, to Champs Trading. And this is Rakib. He eventually left the Discord, and so did Barry, and I'm pretty sure Henry as well, because they became profitable on their own and they didn't need us anymore. He was aiming to make 300, 400 a day, and here he made 10K in a week, 7K in a week, just, normal things. But now my challenge to you, this was my challenge, not to you, but this was my challenge when I was actually coming up with this webinar. I had a really big problem. I spent thousands of hours perfecting the system. If any of my in real life friends are in here, they know that I was up till 3, 4 a.m. on my days off from work. And while I was working 12 hours overnight, I was just studying and trying to find the best trading system that was going to allow me profitability. I spent tens of thousands of hours perfecting this system and countless thousand more hours thinking about this system. How do I distill over 10,000 hours and the total sum of my knowledge into something you can immediately put into action and have a bottom line impact the first time you use it? So how do I take all these tens of thousands of hours that I put my heart and soul into and teach it to you guys in this short webinar so that you, by the time you leave, you can immediately implement it into your trading? Here's how. I created a 4-step system, breaking down my system so it's easier for you guys to learn. Number one, we're going to be going over supply and demand. How do you draw these supply and demand zones? For you finding the zones, drawing them, knowing if they're actually even good zones to execute on. How do you execute them? When to buy the zone, when to sell, where to target, and how to build a system around these supply and demand zones. My EMA system, which EMAs to use, what time frame do we use them on, and how to use them in conjunction with supply and demand. And then my supply and demand heat map. I've never taught this anywhere else before. My secret Shinobi heat map strategy, how to create the supply and demand heat map and how to execute on the heat map. And then at the end, I'm going to be showing you guys results of me trading this system for 1 month on a small account and the results that I got. So starting off with supply and demand, how do you draw them, right? Why trade supply and demand in the first place? When trading in the stock market, you have to understand it's heavily influenced by institutions and algorithms. To remain profitable in the market, you must trade like an institution. What is supply, right? When I say supply and demand, most people here are newer and you don't know what supply is, what demand is. So supply is when there is a quantity of shares yet to be sold, limits yet to be filled at a certain area. This tends to lie in areas where the stock had previously sharply sold off due to sell orders being filled. Now, if you guys aren't following along now, or you think this stuff's too easy, you already know this, just stick along for the end. We're going to have tons of more stuff coming up. This is just to cover everything from A to Z. Supply refers to the total number of shareholders who would be willing to sell their shares at any price. Demand is when there's a quantity of shares yet to be bought, the limits yet to be filled at a certain area. This tends to lie in areas where the stock had previously rallied from aggressive buying. Demand refers to the total amount of share of stock buyers who would be willing to buy at a certain price. Now, I said limits twice there. What are limit orders? Limit orders are orders that have not been filled yet. This is how institutions trade. They set their orders at supply where they have their sell orders and limit orders at demand where they have buy orders. And that's a little, their sell orders create supply and their buy orders create demand. Now, why do they work? Institutions have previous limit orders set from before. So once you identify where you think they're going to have their orders, once it reaches that zone, their orders start to fill and then follow through with your thesis that you put out. Now, finding the zones. When looking for supply and demand zones, you're looking for areas on the chart where the stock had made a significant move to the upside or downside. A move that retail traders like the 1,000 people in here right now, if we put all our money together and bought shares of SPY, we would still not be able to make that type of move. The only people that could make that type of move were institutions. Now, how do you go about drawing that zone? When you're drawing your zones, you want to have your box cover the wick to the opposite body. All right. So for demand, the bottom wick to the top of the body, and you draw out your demand this way and you extend it. Your supply would be at the top of the wick to the opposite body, and this is how you draw your zone. So if you're having trouble finding these areas, understand this. The market is always in two stages. It's either balanced or imbalanced. The balanced market is when buyers and sellers are agreeing on a price, Imbalanced market is where one side is taking your zone. The transition is your zone. Now, a balanced market will look something like this, where the buyers and sellers cannot decide on a direction. Now, say buyers take control, this area right here where the market was once balanced before it broke out is considered a demand. So once it pulls back to this area, it would eventually bounce from this area because these previous buy orders, since stock moves so fast, they have to come back and fill the buy orders that they previously missed. So here's an example of supply zone. So here you can see the market in this area here was balanced. Then sellers took over and had a sharp aggressive move down. So now when the market pulls back into that area, these sell orders from before, their previous orders, because the stock moves so fast, they didn't get to fill all their orders. Once it fills, it sends it back down. It comes back up, fills their orders, rejects really sharply, and pulls it back down. Now, here's another example where the market is moving up really high, or moving up really fast, tops off like this, creates a base almost, and then sells off sharply. This here is considered your supply. When it pulls back up to this level and it rejects, these previous orders from before are filling, causing another sell-off. Now with demand, what's going to end up happening is right before here, you guys see the market was balanced. Buyers took control very quickly. The market moved on higher and then eventually pulled back to where they had their buy orders. Most people are probably bearish here because a lot of people like trading breakouts. They're probably like, oh, there's the support here. Once it breaks here, I'm going to add more. Okay, they add on this candle close. They add more on this retest. Pulls into demand. They're looking for it to break this support, but instead they don't realize it's demand. These buy orders get filled and then pumps right back up. Over here, market sold off sharply. You had a balanced market here. Huge move up, right? Market eventually pulls back. Buyers start to step in. You can see early stages, these wicks are showing buyers are present, and then it moves on up. Now, the EMA system, which EMAs to use, what time frame, and how to use them in conjunction with supply and demand. Now, which EMAs do we use? I use an unorthodox type of EMA. I use the 5 and 8 EMAs. And I don't use them on the 5 minute or 1 minute. I use them on the 15-minute time frame. And then I use the 15-minute time frame with my supply and demand zones drawn on the 1 hour. And I use the EMAs to help me, trade my zones. Now, question. How many of you hold losses for too long and cut your winners short? How many of you people are holding your losses down 50, 60%, but then sell your winners at 10, 15%? What I'm going to do is I'm going to open chat. Yes, do you do this? And be truthful. Now, number one thing I want you guys to see, look at how many yeses there are. Look at how many yeses there are. You're not the only people. And that one guy who keeps saying, no, you're not funny. Right? So everyone here has gone through these similar situations. Everyone goes through this, guys. Don't think you're alone. All you guys said yes. Right? Now, where is your entry here and where is your exit? So for me, I would enter on this candle here once we bounce off this demand zone and we have a close above our EMAs, right? Just to know that we're in trend. Now, this is your entry off the demand zone. So many people here, whether you guys are going to admit it or not, would sell on this candle here. You would start selling on this candle here when it starts to show weakness. You'd sell on this red candle. You'd sell on this red candle. And then you miss out on this entire move. Let's be honest, most of you guys would probably sell here on this pullback when it pulled back here. What you don't realize is that if you use the system that I'm going to teach you, what you guys are learning right now, you would have held this play all the way from here, all the way up until here. And this is from yesterday. So this is like a 40, 50 point move. This was obviously due to some news that made the market pop off. But overall, you would have caught this entire move. Selling here is a lot better than selling here. And even having the chance to see the profit up here is way better than selling down here because you get scared out of your position. The 15-minute time frame with the 5 and 8 EMAs is a cheat code. It's a glitch in the matrix at this point. It works so well. You're able to hold your positions even through the pullbacks, yet you're able to add more to your positions in areas like this. Add more to your positions and then get a really nice profit because you're holding as long as the trend is holding. So that's where your exit would be once it breaks the 15-minute 5 and 8 EMAs and closes a candle. This would be your exit. The supply and demand heat map. My heat map strategy is an unorthodox way of finding where the bulk of institutional orders are. I've created this myself when I would backtest supply and demand zones and see them overlap. When they would overlap, I'd backtest and see how concentrated the zones became and how the stocks would react there. Now let's go into a real life example that happened last week. Now, when I mention this heat map, a lot of people are always getting confused. They're like, Shinobi, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm going to go over it right now. All right. These are just some fun paper trades I took for funsies. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share. I'm going to open up chat. Yes or no? Can you guys see my trading view? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Guys, every time you say yes, I need it to be in all capital. I need you guys to scream at me. There we go. I'm glad everyone can see it. I'm going to turn off chat here. Now, supply and demand. Let's look for these supply and demand zones on this time frame. Number one supply zone that I see is right here. We based, had a huge sell-off. Over here, we created another supply zone. We based and sold off, right? Then we have another supply zone up here. So now that we've created this, do you see how these two zones overlap and create this zone here? So what I do is I'm going to take that zone. I'm going to draw it out. I'm going to take away these two zones. And I want you guys to see how this zone reacted on Friday. This was this zone on Friday. And a lot of people were asking, they're like, hey, we had such a nice move up. Why did it drop end of day? Because they weren't aware of the heat map that we had. This is where the bulk of those two demand zones, when they overlap, this is where they had similar or the same sell orders. All right. This is where the bulk of those orders were since they were overlapping. This is where sellers had their sell orders. Now, if I go over here, indicators, I add exponential moving average. I'm going to add this here. Then this is how I usually set it up. You go here, you can change the color. We'll make one we'll make one pink. And then the other one, you change it to 5, 5 and 8. This is on the 15-minute time frame now. Now look at this. You have the rising wedge leading into a supply zone. When you're looking for supply zones, guys, I always like to use rising and falling wedges to actually find a good setup. This was an A+ setup. And now look at this. Instead of selling on this green candle here, say you shorted. Let's go into replay mode here. So let's say you shorted this breakout here. We're going to play it in slow motion, right? Say you shorted. And instead of selling over here or here, you're aiming or you're waiting for it to break your EMAs for you to cover your short because you're still following the trend up until then, right? So there, that would be your sell order right here. The second it breaks above those EMAs. So what you just did there according to the system with this heat maps, you go here, your risk to reward was a whopping 5.4 to 1 risk to reward. Right? That was your risk to reward. So for one contract of ES, an options contract would have opened up insane. But one ES contract netted you $1,800. Based off of 3 simple things. Number 1, find a heat map zone. 2, you find rising/falling wedge into that zone. 3, ride EMAs down. All right. And this right here is what I consider the perfect setup. It does not get any better than this. Does not get any better than this. Now, how do you find price targets? If you guys aren't big fans of holding your entire position through, how do you find price targets based off of this? So what you do is to find price targets, you go back here during this session here, you look for supply and demand zones on the 1-minute chart and use them as price targets. All right. So here you go. This is where you would be trimming along the way. You find the supply and demand zones on the 1-minute time frame, and this is going to tell you where you should be taking profit, where you should be, trimming along the way. So if I put it back into replay mode here, and then I show you guys on a paper trade and how you could have taken this play, we're going to take 3 contracts short. We'll take 4, right? And I'm going to play it, and I'll show you exactly what I would have done. You have it here. You cover right there on the first 1-minute demand zone. And then second is you're going to hold your position here. Your stop is at break even now. Let it pull down. We're going to actually make it go faster. Your stop is break even. Once it hits your first price target, your stop loss is immediately break even. Oops, I missed it. So you take your second partial there. And this is on the 1-minute. You wouldn't be watching the 1-minute, but you just have these zones plotted out on, say, the 15-minute. If we were to play this here, you'd just be watching the 15-minute. And then you take your last partial there, and then you hold for the move, and then there you go. So that right there, it's an unrealistic trade. I highly doubt anyone here is trading with 4 lots unless you're on a funded account. But here you go. That would have netted you $6,000, $650 just based off the A+ setup. Now, a lot of you guys, how you guys go into a trading day is you do this. The market opens. No plan, no nothing. This is how most of you guys trade. You guys go into the market. Market opens up. You go into the 5-minute, how you usually do. This is how I used to trade too. So we'll go straight to 9:30. I'm going to give you guys an example of how I used to trade. I want you guys to tell me if this is how you trade right now. Go to the market. You draw out this downtrend. It breaks. You're buying here. And then you get stopped out here on this huge move because you're looking for a move higher. You want to see 4,100. All right. So this is how you trade. You don't go in with a plan. You don't draw out zones. You don't draw out levels. You might draw out levels, but let's be honest, they don't work for you. Right. You don't go in with zones. You don't know that there's a supply here from the previous day. So you went into today, you drew out this downtrend, you bought here, you got completely clobbered on the supply zone because you thought it was going to continue higher through the power of friendship or something, right? You let it keep playing. And then next thing you do is you're like, okay, let me see what the market's doing. You start drawing another downtrend here. And you're like, once the market breaks above this level, and you think this is creating plan, once the market breaks above this level, I'm going to go long and I'm going to play it to this high, right? It breaks this level. You buy calls here. you add on the retest, however Furu tells you, right? And then let's be honest, you get stopped out on this candle here, on this candle here. This is down 20 points, negative 20 points before FOMC ripped it. You're down 20 points. This is how most of you guys trade, and you wonder how you lose money. I'm going to open up chat. Is this how you trade? You wait for the market to make setups. You wait for it to create wedges, create triangles for you to trade. I'm going to open up chat. Is that how you guys trade? Yes or no? I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Seeing a lot of yeses. All right. So I know that's how a lot of you guys trade. But now imagine you guys did this. We're going to go on to the hourly time frame. We're going to draw out our supply zone here. And then, you know, if you go onto the 30-minute, you can draw out this demand zone here. This was here as well. We mentioned this previously. And now what you end up doing is you go back onto the daily because there was a supply zone there. And you draw out that supply zone. This one up here. Now you go onto the 5-minute, and this is how you would have traded today. This is how you would have traded today. Let me go back one more candle. So right at market open, you short, you cover, and then you wait for it to come into your demand zone. Boom, boom, you buy. I messed up the buy, and then you start selling up here. Obviously, that moved too fast, but you would have been buying here, right? Your sell targets are up here at this previous supply zone. You would have sold here, and you would have sold here. Obviously, I messed it up. But now you're probably wondering, Shinobi, did you do this today? Did you buy calls? Did you make money off these teachings that these things that you expect us to learn, the things that you're telling us, you know, that we should know? And the answer to that is pretty simple. Of course I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to open, or I'm going to find the screenshot from today. Here it is. Can you guys see my screenshot? I'm going to open up chat. Tell me yes or no. Yes, there you go. I want everyone to say yes. When I say yes, I want the entire chat to be flooded with yeses. So you can see here, I bought calls. And we made 200%. This guy keeps saying, show me your login. If you were here in the beginning, you know what you would have done? You would have seen that I've shown my tax statements. So what we're going to do with this troll here. We're going to go 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 here. And we're going to hit boom, boom. All right. So what I want you guys to stop doing is stop asking all the, save your questions for the end, guys. Save it for the end. Okay. So once again, can you guys see this picture? This is me from today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do one of these where I open up the Discord chat. So here it is. We actually took 120% on SPY. So right here, picked up SPY 415 calls for a swing. Boom, 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 120%. Very, very simple. That's all based off the things that I teach you guys, that I'm showing you guys how to do right now. All right. So when everyone usually asks me, they're like, Shinobi, how did you take this trade? But then they come into the webinars and they don't even learn, right? So how do you draw heat maps one more time? Yes, we'll go over that one more time. So here, let's go over heat maps on, you know, this. Let's see if we get one here. So we have a demand right here, right? We'll make it green so it's easier for people to see. We have a demand right here. We go into the hourly. And there's another demand right here. Oops, I missed the thing. There's another demand right here. Then we go on to the 30-minute. There's a demand here. Onto the 15-minute. You're basically looking for overlapping zones to see if you could have found a stacked zone. So here, you go into the 5-minute, this overlapping zone. So once you have that overlapping zone, you draw the rectangle over the shaded part, the dark part, like so, and then you delete the other zones. And then you watch to see how the market reacts at these areas. So today, when the market pulled into these areas, you'll see if you had buy limits placed here at this 40.54 area, you would have been able to catch this entire move to the upside. Now on the daily, the most notable one that we had is if we go here, we draw out this supply here, and we draw out this supply here. On Friday, everyone's wondering why the market rejected really hard into close. The shaded area between those two overlapping zones, this is where the supply got very strong. This is where sellers really kicked in, right? Since there's two zones overlapping, this is where they share sell orders. So if we go here, if they're sharing sell, if there's a sell orders here, there's sell orders here, and now they have an area where there's two sell orders or two different, institutions, whatever. There's two stacks of sell orders here. It's going to be really heavy for the stock to move past it, right? So save all your questions for the end, guys. So this was the result of trading that strategy that I've just shown you guys. I started with a 10K account in January to challenge myself to find consistency and really back test my strategy to see if it works, right? And to really prove it to you guys. I've been working on this webinar for a month, all right? I've been working on it for a month, and now I was able to turn that 10K account into 16K in a total of 45 hours of work. I trade less than 1.5 hours a day. If you're part-time college, if you have a job, an extra hour a day, hour and a half makes you 6K in a month from a 10K investment. Would you take that? Yes or no? Would you be happy if you made an extra 6K a month? Yes or no, with 1 hour of work every single day? And I want you guys to spam yes in the chat. All capital. Perfect. The 6K profit from a 10K account is a 60% return. Now you'll see I didn't get lucky on any days. I didn't make 5K in one day. The rest were just like, red days. It's all through consistency and trusting the Shinobi system, the system that I've worked so hard to come up with and create, right? 1, 2, 3, 2 red days. Then look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 straight green days, averaging anywhere from a couple hundred to $1,000 a day. And I was taking probably, $500 to $1,000 position size. This was the result. 5.6K after fees, after commissions in the month of January from trading this system. An extra 2K a week almost just trading this system. Now, I want everyone to breathe, all right? The webinar has been going on for 40 minutes. I want everyone to take a quick break. I want you guys to take a couple of quick breaks, get up, move around in your seat. I don't want you guys to, sit here, get hydrated, do something just to get your mind back focused. We just went over a good amount of content. I want you guys to be prepared for the second half. So everyone get up, breathe a little bit, and then we're going to come back in 1 second, literally, after I take this sip of water. Everyone done breathing? Yes, 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 yes. All right, let's continue. Now, I'm going to open up chat once again. Do you feel more comfortable with your ability to make money trading after what we've gone through? I want you guys to spam it. Yes, all capitals in the chat. Have you learned some techniques you already feel excited about implementing? Remember our deal that we had in the beginning? Have you learned some techniques you already are excited about implementing into your trading? And is it fair to say using these techniques would give you a significant advantage over your competition? Yo, if you guys are going to spam questions, I swear to God, I'm going to slap you. I said wait for it until the end. This isn't the end. Is it fair to say using these techniques will give you a significant advantage over your competition? Yes. Glad to hear that. So now you guys have two choices. Two choices. I have absolute confidence that you could take everything we covered here today and go on your own, go out, put it into action, and get the results that you previously thought weren't possible. I'm certain just with the information we've covered on this webinar so far has left you on your own and with your own resources, time and effort. You can go make a go at this and in a way that most people will never be able to with the resources you've just been provided. And if that was your only option, it would be a good ideal to pursue. Choice number two. What if there's another option, an option where that allowed us to go at this together as a team, a chance to go deeper than we can do in one measly hour on one measly webinar, connecting together one measly time? What if I played an active role in your results, took a responsibility in your success, and had an obligation to your outcome? How would that make things different? If we had such an option for you, would you love to hear more about it and what it could do for you? Type yes in the chat if you guys would. Damn, look at all the motherfuckers spamming yes. God damn. All right, turning off chat. Now, that's why it's a great pleasure I introduce you guys to Champs Trading. All right. So number one thing we have is a concierge program to shorten your learning curve and progress faster with the help from Michael and the concierge staff who guide you in the right direction, hop on one-on-one calls, answer any questions you might have, right? You'll be held accountable to complete the needle moving tasks every day from your group, peers, and staff, setting weekly and daily goals, having game plans, journaling, etc. Surround yourself with like-minded, hardworking individuals who are doing everything they can to become the best version of themselves. So here we have some people. I had a terrible day, affected me, went sleepy half the day. Michael analyzed mistakes, guided me in the right path to learn. Being part of the concierge program is helpful as progress as a beginner, blah, 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 blah. You guys can see these people are holding themselves accountable. These people are gaining experience and they're able to actually progress alongside a team that has the same goals as them. People that will hop on one-on-one calls with you, people that will literally give you thousands of dollars worth of information for literally $0, right? This is all for free included in Champs Trading, right? Like we mentioned before. So right here, you'll get little tidbits of, strategy from Michael. You guys could screenshot that, read that. I'm not going to read over it, but things like this often. And there's thousands of courses that charge thousands of dollars for this. You can see right here, $2,000. Instead of paying $4,000, guys, you have a sale for $2,300. You're saving $1,600. Oh my gosh. There's communities that charge $500, $600 a month for this type of stuff. So we're revolutionizing the industry, and we're only charging $45 a month for this, where you get to hop from coaching from me and my admins, live trading, webinars 7 times a week, concierge program, and the community. We have an A to Z course starting this Friday. This was the big announcement, guys. I know so many people have been waiting for this announcement and for me to tell it to you guys. Bro, guys, we are having a full-length course that people charge thousands of dollars for, all live every single Friday. We're going to have classes for 12 weeks, just going over everything from the very beginner of trading all the way to the end of trading, A to Z, everything in the middle. Smart money concepts and ICT teaching starting February 7th, and then supply and demand series starting February 6th by me. So even if you could use just tiny fraction of what we covered today, don't you feel like you've taken a gigantic leap forward with your trading? I didn't know, what you knew about trading before coming into the webinar, but I bet it's a safe bet that some or all of what we covered today was valuable to you. Stuff such as, the profitable system framework, the supply and demand zones that we taught, the EMA system that we taught, the heat maps that we taught. Has our time in this webinar thus been well spent? Have you guys gained value from being in this webinar thus far? Yes, in the chat. Locate the chat box, type a yes. Right? There we go. Do you feel more confident in your trading? I want you guys to type yes in the chat. Everyone wants to see. All right, you guys want to see my login? You guys want to see my login? We'll do this. We'll log in. We'll show you guys. We'll show you guys my login. I'm going to actually log in from here so you guys don't see my password. I'll show you guys the login. I'll show you guys the 10K account we've been trading on. We'll show these guys. We'll show these guys our fucking login, bro. I was waiting for someone to ask me for the login. All right, let me. All right. Let me just go here. Let me make sure it's on private mode so you guys don't see my account number. Then we're going to go here. So what I'm going to show you guys over here is going to be the P&L year to date. All right. And first of all, you guys could see live account, right? We're going to go here. 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 You guys are going to be able to see my year-to-date P&L so far. And then we reset the account. We withdrew 10K out of this account to restart at 5K for the month of February. So there's your login for all the trolls there. I was waiting for someone to be like, show your account, you're a liar. You can fake your trades out. There's my P&L year to date. What do you want now? And I withdrew 10K out of that 16K account, restarted at 5K. So not only did I take it to 60K, I paid myself 10K and now I'm trading stress-free. So there you go. But do you feel more confident in your trading? Javi, that was a P&L, you dumb idiot. That was literally P&L YTD. But have you guys spam yes in the chat? Do you feel more confident in your trading? And can you see how just even one of the things I showed you today can help you improve your trading? This could work on futures, whatever you want. All right. Are you excited to continue to make a go at trading, see wonderful things it opens up for you in life? Yes. And we're going to be doing the 5K account challenge this month. Now, do you guys want, well, I feel like you guys have honestly gotten your value so far from this webinar. It's been an hour together. I'm super excited, you know, for the people who stuck around to the end. I'm going to actually stop the recording so the people